I think my music is a way of like experiencing the city. Like I think that what I play is sort of like a sonic description in my mind of what it feels to walk around, what it feels to like experience the city. I don't really listen to the same kind of music over and over. I generally sort of change things up. Once I've listened to something for even a little bit, like once or twice, the sound becomes a little bit tiring to me. I guess once you've heard the same rhythmic progressions, it doesn't really have the same sort of interest. So I like to change it up. I like to listen to a lot of different things. I listen to a lot of different sort of world music, if you want to call it that. You're about to step on a curb. And for a while I listened to a lot of noise music, essentially, but I feel like that category has only really come into like play since maybe like the 70s and 80s. And there are a lot of bands, and if you want to call them that, or like a lot of them were more of like performance art ensembles. And I think what they do is really cool, that they try to create an aesthetic that's never been tried before. They try to play sounds that create a sort of noise that embodies the times. Some people say that industrial music kind of came out of noise. Like Throbbing Gristle is the name of a group that I feel like a lot of people have respect for. So I try to change it up. I don't try to stick to any niche, though. I think that that's like one of my biggest sort of promises to myself, is to not really stay within one niche of music, you know, to always have different sort of experiences every time I listen to music. I like Beethoven and Mozart. I think that they fit within classical music, which means that they encompass like one sort of broad aesthetic. So I listen to them within that sort of mindset. I really enjoy like hearing how sounds, like how they prolong themselves, you know, like you can keep a sound going and it turns into a drone. And I really enjoy how like that drone interacts with what you play, and like how things layer. Certain techniques to filter like distortion or overdrive, what they're actually doing mathematically is they're adding different frequencies, and those frequencies are harmonics. In other words, like they sound good. Like there's a mathematical reason why they sound good together. So when you're adding harmonics like that, you know, like it creates this like really nice circle of fifths, sort of like harmonious interaction a lot of the time. What do I think the difference between noise and music? Like, I think that noise can be a form of music. I think that noise is like an aesthetic principle. It's not a separate concept from music. Maybe the sound of like water trickling or a waterfall. These are like really aesthetically joyous sounds that people like to hear. And I think they should all be combined into music for the masses, or music for anyone. I think that people kind of downplay the idea of like textural sounds rather than harmonics. A while ago, I decided that I wanted to release my music somehow, but I didn't really have any clue of how to or where to. So what I did was I ended up recording my music to a tape player, and I made my own tapes. I made this one called Our Galaxy, and I chose my artist name, Pareidolia, and I gave it sort of this textural design. But I only made maybe like 20 of these. In fact, my roommate once told me that he didn't like my music and he got kind of pissed off He also was pretty drunk when he said that, and I forgave him. And also, I didn't care. You can think what you want about what I make, but, you know, like, I'm still gonna do it, regardless of whether it annoys the hell out of you. I mean, at that point, it's really your choice whether or not to, like, leave or do something else and not listen to my music. I like to not invest too much time in my music. That's my main boundary, because, like, when I started doing it, I realized that I could just kind of sit in my room for hours and hours on end, exploring this, like, deep, deep question of, like, what is the most interesting sonically music. And there really isn't an answer to that, but trying to find the answer to that question is so intriguing that I would get lost in it. So I don't really do that too much anymore. Kind of turned away from making music for a little while, maybe a temporary break.
Why?
I just like to explore all the facets of life too, and just being by myself, making music for hours on end is not the only way to live your life, so I feel.